Good morning, class. Today we're working on Unit 4, Lesson 2, Remembering, and we are reviewing comparing fractions. We're reviewing multiplying fractions by a whole number, and we're reviewing what we did yesterday, which is multiplying by powers of 10, looking at multiplying by 50, 500, 5,000, 60, 600, and again 600. And so we are going to work with this, but you can go ahead as we get started and put an X through stretch your thinking. We're going to go ahead and compare some fractions. We've been practicing this for a long time. And here we have 5/8, and we're comparing that to 5/7. Now, when you have a numerator that's the same, and in this case you have 5 on the top of both, you are going to choose, the larger one is going to be the smaller denominator. And the way to think about this is, would I want 5 pieces of a candy bar that was broken up into 8 chunks, or would I want 5 pieces of a candy bar that was broken up into 7 chunks? Well, those 7 chunks are going to be larger. And this, remember, only works when the numerators are the exact same. So 5/8 is less than 5/7. Let's look at number 2, and we have 3/4, and we're comparing it to 5/6. Now, we know that we need to have a common denominator unless the numerators are the same, and in this case they're not. So we need to get a common denominator for this problem. And we have 4 and 6. 4 is not a factor of 6, so it can't go into 6 evenly. So we need to get to the next smallest common denominator, and that's going to be 12. I know that 6 and 4 can both go into 12. And I know 6 times 2 is equal to 12, and anything I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. I also know that 4 times 3 is equal to 12, and anything I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. And now I can just multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. And 3 times 4 is 12. And I'm comparing this. I have 5 times 2 is 10. And I have 6 times 2 is 12. And now I have a common denominator, so I can just compare them straight across. And I can see that 9/12 is less than 10/12. And so when you go back to your original problem, 3/4 is less than 5/6. 3/4 is less than 5/6. We'll go ahead and complete one more together. And in number 3, we have 9/10, and we're comparing that to 8/9. And we can go ahead and just multiply here by each other. 9 is not a factor of 10, so we can multiply each side by each other. Anything you do to the top, you do to the bottom. And we have 8 times 10 is equal to 80, and 9 times 10 is equal to 90. Here we have 9 times 9 is equal to 81, and 9 times 10 is equal to 90. And now we're comparing common denominator. We have 90 on both, so 81 is larger than 80. So 81/90 is larger than 80/90. And so, again, going back to the original, 9/10 is larger than 8/9. In numbers 7 through 12, we're practicing multiplying fractions by whole numbers. And here we have in number 7, we have 5/6, and we're multiplying that by 36. And remember, we need to write 36, the whole number, as a fraction. In order to do that, we write it over 1. So now what we have is 5/6 times 36 over 1. Now this is a case where we definitely want to cross simplify, because I know 6 is a factor of 36. 6 can go into 36 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. And 6 can go into 6 one time. 6 times 1 is 6. And now I can multiply straight across. 6 times 5 is equal to 30, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. And so my answer here is 30 over 1, which is equal to 30. Go ahead and write that right on the line, 30. Let's look at number 8. We have 1/8, and we're multiplying 1/8 times 40. In order to write 40 as a fraction, I have to write 40 over 1. And now I can again cross simplify, because 8 is a factor of 40, because 8 can go into 45 times. 8 times 5 is 40. So 8 can go into 40 5 times. 8 can go into 8 one time, because 8 times 1 is 8. Then what I have is 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 1 is 1. And 5 over 1 is equal to 5. And your answer here is 5. One more together. On number 9, we have 2/5, and we are multiplying 2/5 times 60. In order to write 60 as a fraction, I simply write 60 over 1. Here, I know that 5 can go into 60. I know that 5 times 12 is equal to 60, so I know 5 can go into 60 12 times. And I know 5 can go into 5 one time. So now I have 2 times 12, which is equal to 24, over 1 times 1, which is 1. 24 over 1 is equal to 24. So your answer here is 24. Make sure when you're multiplying these with 7 through 12, you cross simplify. We're going to talk about our shifting when we're doing powers of 10 or multiplying by powers of 10. Number 13, we have 50, and we're multiplying that by 2. We're going to shift it to the left, so we're going to bring that 0 down, and we're going to make it our placeholder. And then we have 2 times 5, which is equal to 10. 50 times 2 is equal to 100. Let's go ahead and look at number 14. In number 14, we have 500, and we're multiplying that by 2. We're going to use our shift again, and we're going to use our zeros, and here we have 2 zeros, and we're going to use those as our placeholders so we can shift our 5 times 2, which is equal to 10, 2 places to the left. 500 times 2 is equal to 1,000. I'm going to do one more with you. We're going to do number 17. In number 17, what we have is 600, and we're multiplying that by 40. Okay, we have zeros. We're going to use our placeholders, and we have 1, 2, 3 zeros. So I'm going to put 3 zeros down as placeholders, and then I'm going to do my 6 times 4, which is equal to 24. So 600 times 40 is equal to 24,000. All right, you're going to complete 4 through 6, 10 through 12, 15, 16, and 18 on your own. When you've finished, please take a picture of your work, attach it to your assignment, and turn it in on Teams.